Okay, so let's unpack this for a second. Imagine you're a middle school student,
Okay.
right? And someone tells you that every single challenge you're facing right now,
Everything.
yeah, everything, the tough algebra homework, the, drama with friends, even how you strategize in your favorite video game is actually mandatory training for massive success later in life.
Right. And that is exactly the radical, really powerful premise at the heart of what we're looking at today.
This is the source material.
This is the source material. We're
Yeah.
dissecting the Power Ladder Middle School Kids by an author named Obsidian of Freeman. And it's pitched as, much more than a book. It's a playbook for winning in life.
Right, for a very specific audience at a very critical age. So our mission here is to go a bit deeper than the summary. We want to synthesize what the author is claiming about, thinking bigger, leading stronger, all of that.
And really get into the mindset, strategy, and systems, because that's the promise.
Exactly. It's setting up everyday life, everyday competition as the foundational training ground for your future power.
And we have to analyze that rhetoric, because this approach sees effort as, well, the direct source of power. It frames competition, all kinds of it, as this necessary engine for building confidence. The author makes a very clear argument. This essential advantage, it doesn't start when you get a job.
No.
It starts right now.
Okay, so let's start with the core concept then, the architecture of this whole idea. The power ladder.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very intentional metaphor, isn't it? It suggests this step-by-step upward path. It kind of implies power isn't a thing you just get. It's a structure you have to actively climb.
It is. And what's fascinating here is the absolute emphasis on timing the why now part of the argument. The source says because the world is changing so fast, middle school isn't just a waiting room for high school.
This is the main event.
It's where the real training begins.
Right.
Every decision, every habit you form between, say, 11 and 14, that shapes the entire structure of who you become.
And this commitment to future power, it's immediately tied to a present-day investment. The material costs $62.
$62, yeah.
Which, for a book aimed at kids, that might seem a little high.
It does, but the author is extremely explicit about this. The framing is, you are not buying a book. You are, and this is a direct quote, investing in your future power.
That's a crucial piece of the puzzle then. That price tag is doing a lot of work.
It's a high-value signal. By putting a premium price on it, the author reinforces this idea of exclusivity, of getting an intellectual shortcut. It's basically saying, if you're willing to make this investment, you're serious.
You're separating yourself from the pack.
Exactly. It sets a really high bar for the content, positioning this knowledge as a kind of privileged asset, like intellectual aware that most people just don't get until it's too late.
It promises the mindset of winners and the systems of leaders. But for a middle schooler, that word systems, it can sound pretty abstract. What exactly is the author talking about there? Is it just study habits?
I think it's broader than just study habits. It's about building repeatable processes that lead to, reliable outcomes. So if we look at the big picture, systems here probably means things like disciplined morning routines, maybe simple financial habits, ways of tracking your own productivity.
Okay, so it's the stuff that takes emotion out of the equation.
It's the mechanism that translates that mindset into actual tangible results.
That brings us really naturally to the architecture of the climb itself. It's a great theory, but how does the book actually translate that into action?
It uses 5 distinct steps or chapters designed to move you up your personal power ladder.
Step by step.
Precisely. The journey starts at the most foundational level. Step 1, survival the first competition. This is all about raw resilience.
So getting through it.
Right. Learning how to push through tough times, how to absorb a failure and come back stronger. It's the lesson that obstacles aren't roadblocks. They're basically necessary weight training.
And the examples used here are, I think, brilliant for capturing a modern middle schooler's attention. The source cites Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, and Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast, yeah.
Why those two specifically for survival?
Because they represent 2 critical forms of that early grind. Hurts represents overcoming very public setbacks, right? The intense scrutiny, the pressure, all before he was a huge success.
Sure.
But Mr. Beast represents the hidden survival of being a creator,
Wow.
the hundreds of videos that failed, the algorithm grind, just the sheer tenacity needed before anyone knew his name.
So it's grounding survival in both the physical world and the new digital economy.
Exactly. Then you move up. Step 2 is tribal competition, leadership, and teamwork. This moves beyond just you into group dynamics.
The social game.
The social game, it's that crucial phase where you supposedly learn how to earn respect and lead with courage. The skill isn't just being good at something anymore. It's about convincing others to follow you and learning to respect the roles within a group.
Okay, and step 3, training like a champion, that shifts the focus inward again, but it sounds like it's at a higher level.
It is. This is where the playbook promises to reveal secret habits and teach you how to train your mind, not just your muscles.
But for a middle schooler, what does champion training actually look like? It can't just be doing push-ups.
No, it's about performance psychology. And again, the examples are key. Muhammad Ali, LeBron James, and Beyonce.
A killer lineup.
Right. Ali is the classic physical discipline, sure, but he's also vocal confidence, mental intimidation. LeBron is longevity, strategic career management. But bringing in Beyonce is so important. She embodies the relentless mental and business discipline needed to run a global brand.
So it's about pursuing mastery in everything, not just the one thing you're known for.
That's it, which helps connect to step 4, playing sports turning games into greatness. Here, the book validates basically every competitive activity you can think of. Basketball, chess, even video games. It says they're all direct training.
Which is a really powerful message for that audience.
It's a brilliant rhetorical tool. It gives immediate meaning to what they already do for fun, and it bridges the gap to the final step by teaching transferable skills. Think about a competitive video game.
Strategy, resource management.
Resource management under pressure, adapting on the fly. These are one-to-one skills for business and leadership.
Which brings us to the top. Step 5, the ultimate application. Business, wealth, and power. This is the big picture stuff.
It is. This is where you see how world leaders and entrepreneurs actually do the climb and how you, the learner, can start applying that framework right now.
It's still a little jarring to connect survival instincts from step 1 directly to wealth creation in step 5 for, a 13-year-old.
It is jarring, but it's strategically potent. The message is clear. The same tenacity that gets you through a tough week of homework is the same psychological muscle you need to build an enterprise. It tries to demystify wealth.
So it's not some far-off abstract goal.
It's presented as the natural consequence of mastering the first 4 steps.
Okay, so if we connect all this, the ultimate goal is a complete mental transformation. It's meant to totally reorient how a kid sees their own life. But I have to ask, this high-stakes view of youth, viewing every single interaction as mandatory training, doesn't that take the fun out of just being a kid? Does the book address the stress of that?
That's a really important question, and it gets to the core philosophy of the source, which definitely prioritizes competitive drive. The book frames this intensity as necessary. It suggests that real confidence is a byproduct of competence, and competence is earned in these high-pressure situations. It focuses more on the outcomes, the 5 key takeaways, rather than the potential emotional cost.
Let's lay out those promised outcomes. What are the markers of this transformation?
Okay, so first, you will learn to think like a leader, not a follower. Second, you build discipline, confidence, and focus.
The internal stuff.
The internal stuff. Third, and this is central, you'll turn competition into your greatest advantage. So rivals aren't threats, they're essential training partners. They force you to get better.
And the last 2 promises are about vision and, I guess, understanding the world.
Right. Your promise that you will see your potential and know how to reach it step by step. And critically, you will understand how the world actually works so you can start to shape your own future.
This all leads to maybe the sharpest piece of marketing in the whole thing. The claim that it's filling an educational gap.
That's it. The author asserts this material provides the mindset, strategy, and systems that schools don't teach.
But that every champion knows.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because that claim positions the playbook as this necessary supplement. It's the secret knowledge that formal education just misses.
It's a direct challenge to you, the listener, to step outside the normal curriculum and get the template for success that, powerful people supposedly use.
Exactly. It positions this mindset, these systems, as the true currency of power in the world. The material challenges you to make a decision, to actively engage in this climb and to own the game you're already in, whether that game is the school science fair or, an online battle arena.
So to summarize our deep dive, this power ladder concept is an incredibly comprehensive strategy. It starts with teaching basic survival, using icons like Jalen Hurts and Mr. Beast. It moves through mental training models on Ali, LeBron, and Beyonce. And it culminates in applying all that to wealth and business.
And the core idea is that getting this specific knowledge is the immediate catalyst for real personal power.
It is, which raises a pretty big final thought for you to consider.
This raises a really important question for you, the listener. If everyday life, as this source material claims, is truly intended to be deliberate, high-stakes training for power, how radically do you have to shift your perspective to see things like friendships, homework, and even family challenges not as routine tasks, but as calculated practice for becoming truly unstoppable?